What is up, Equinox? Yeah, baby.
Happy Monday.
We're live. We're live. It's Monday night. We're live.
Wow.
I also heard there's something coming up called the idea that's big.
The big. If you get the big idea, all else follows.
What's the big idea? What is the big idea?
I'm so excited. That means the Joneses are coming to town. Denise's coming to town. The Rowan Horse are coming to town. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Final down.
Wait, so what the hell is it though? Well, one, what's the big idea? Two, what's the big idea?
Yeah, so, I'm a crazy person is what the big idea is. Came home from Focus last year and got the big idea to put up a big white tent. And so we've got a 60 by 200 massive tent and 80 people camping with us in our home. And the speakers are out of this world. And we have a live DJ, so it's going to be really like Tony Robbins-esque and the high vibes. So I'm not at all excited about it.
Shouldn't be. I don't know why you would be. But what's the big idea really in chiropractic?
Ooh, what is the big idea? The big idea is the answer to all things. It is the sacred trust. It is the gift that we have for humanity.
So what? You want to keep being vague? Tell me what the big idea is.
Dr. Jones?
We can move forward. I ain't answering that one. No, I'll answer it later. Let's get started. Welcome back, everybody, to a weekly activation. Devin and I are excited to go live with y'all tonight to share what we're going to share tonight. And let's do a quick recap of last week. So last week we dove in on some exercises to feel what certainty and or uncertainty feels like in your own physiology. So hopefully y'all had an opportunity to do that either with a partner or with your team. And remember, we want to be posting when we're finishing our exercises. So the lead guides are going to lead by example this week, and we'll all be posting ours up after this. Remember, we post the weekly exploration. And once you've finished the weekly exploration, to use that hashtag activated with your answers. Now, you will get out of this what you put in. And so real quick, I do want to talk about accountability, or I'll let you lead that off, Devin, and to talk about accountability and why that's so important for us leveling up.
Yeah, Equinox is it's not like we all don't have 100 things we couldn't be doing right now. So the whole point of creating this space within Equinox is for all of us to engage and to lean into one another. And I'm excited this week to hear the feedback after this particular activation. But I really kind of put that challenge out there to sync up with somebody that you already know or that you start to vibe with as they, comment and you get to know new people. And or reach out to some of us lead guides and start, asking some questions. Come out of that shell. Let us see you. I want to see you. I want to know you. So, accountability is huge, huge.
Yeah, so like Devin said, one of the ways you'll have accountability is by participating in the group, posting your answers, and getting feedback about those answers. Another way is if you want to increase your accountability, so you can find somebody you vibe with, reach out to them, and you can have a little personal accountability buddy for finishing your exploration and or just working, whatever you're working on currently within business or in life. And then if you want up the accountability again, you can schedule a one-on-one with Devin and I at the moment, and we're here to be the ultimate form of accountability and really make sure you're crushing all the things you want to crush. All right, so go ahead.
I did have a really great opportunity to connect with one of our members this week on one of the entry calls, and I believe that when the time comes, she'll share a little bit of what it's like to dive deeper into these lessons with us. So again, like you said, you always get out of something what you put into it. So
yes,
the door is open, y'all.
Which brings up one other thing is I want to make sure everybody's very, very aware that we are teaching, principles in a seasonal cycle. And so right now we are in the emotional season, which is mainly going to focus on communication strategies, team, relationships, nonviolent communication, non-linguistic, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. And so those are the main things that we're focusing in on right now from a principle basis. However, if you have more specific questions in regards to systems or specific practice questions, that's a great place for the Q&A. You can always post help. If you just have, anything you need help with, this is what we're here for. And also to let you know that as we continue, we will be building online courses to help support the crew, right? And so if the community continually has certain needs that are coming up, then online courses can be created to help support and honor and acknowledge those needs, just so everybody's aware of what's happening in this group. That yes, you can get your needs met. And if you have needs that aren't getting addressed, please let us know. So now is time to clear the space and to tune.
I wanna be free, so free, like a feather blowing through the breeze, like a bird in a tree, like a dolphin in the sea.
All right, so we have a new video. This is our tune-in song, right? And so this is the time during our activation just to take a moment for yourself to light your Palo Santo or your ceremonial spirit and take some deep breaths. Connect and honor the intelligence within. You may have had a busy day. You may have had a record day. You may have had a slow day. You may have had a stressful day. You may have had a peaceful day. But whatever it is, it's an opportunity to check back in, to breathe easy, to connect to that deep space, to the vortex, to the void, where it's just you in this moment. Finding that gratitude, finding that peace, finding the presence, finding the moment, this moment. Beautiful. All right. Oh, I like the way that rolled out. See, look at it. We got new technology and things up in the game. All right. So let's dive into the activation here. And so this activation, let me close this out real quick. All right. So last week, again, we talked about certainty, and this is big. Is it possible to have certainty associated with disempowering belief systems in false paradigms, right? And so the beautiful thing is, okay, now you're learning how to leverage certainty for when you're feeling that you're in a position, especially when potentially trying to create influence, or really just try to speak truth into what it is that you're trying to move into. But we also can have certainty in things that are not serving us, whether it's how we grew up in the environment that shaped us or experiences that we've had. Could have been a traumatic experience, could have been a relationship. But what can happen is we start to develop levels of certainty that are really holding us back from us becoming the best version of ourselves. Before getting started with our examples, I think it's important to drop this Dispenza quote. Now, I heard this. He spoke on the podcast with Lewis Howes, and I wrote down near everything he said. It took me a long time, but I love this passage. He says, "It turns out most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. They are always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience, and they are literally, out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field, selecting the worst possible outcome and beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear, and they are conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times and the body is having a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously. So when emotions influence certain thoughts, and they do, and then those thoughts create those same emotions, and those same emotions influence the same thoughts, now the person's entire state of being is in the past. So then the hardest part about change is not to make the same choice as you did before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, get ready, because it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unfamiliar." Whew. That's a big old quote there. Go Dispenza.
I would challenge everybody to play that back because I've heard it now, as we've talked about it a few different times. I've read it, and something else jumps out at me every time. So I would definitely hit the rewind on that and let it kind of sink into what this means for you.
And I'll make sure to post it when we get done too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is all about loops, right? Getting to know yourself. And I got some questions this week as I was out and about in the chiropractic world and saying, what's equinox? Is this just self-development? Which I do kind of want to address as we open this. This applies to you, of course, because my friends, you are the product. Whether you are the doctor, the student, the staff, we are humans. And so what people put money across the table for is our service. And if the loops in our head are running negatively or in a disempowering belief, this can be detrimental to the way that we communicate, the way that we are able to collect for our services, the way that our message gets across. This is huge. This is it.
Right.
So
and this is often the work that people don't want to do, right? They want the strategies, right?
Yeah.
Give me the things to do so I can ignore the true shit that I need to be working on, right? Because ultimately everything that you're experiencing in your life is a manifestation of who you are on the inside. And so we can continue to layer stuff on, hiding from the real work, or we can start to do the real work and understand that other stuff is secondary. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you want to have a framework to bounce from, and we can work on that too. But ultimately, when we dive in and we can start to find some of these things and start to relinquish them, and have strategies for that, relinquishing or abandoning of the things that are no longer serving us, we're gonna. That's when your growth turns exponential. Right, a lot of people are used to this linear growth, which I'm going to get into. That was one of my disempowering beliefs. But I believe when we can really cut the ties on these things that are holding us back, that's when we can turn exponential in our evolution as human beings and as chiropractors.
Absolutely. This has been a pretty insane year of spiritual growth for me, personal and professional. Started with a Date with Destiny experience at Tony Robbins, and he gets really into this. And as I've learned through this training how to go back and grab where this loop came from. It's fascinating. And then even in the conversations that you start to share with your team, with your patients, with your spouse, with your friends, you'll hear their loops. And then it helps you navigate how to communicate with this world. It's huge. To me, it's been absolutely life-changing.
So, Devin, I think it would be powerful right now for you to share an example of your own. So what's something in your life, that you have found that you had certainty about, right? And ultimately it was certainty for something that was not empowering in your life, as far as a way of viewing the world, a paradigm or a belief system.
Yeah. I would say one of the biggest ones is that being a mother of 5 and being a kick-ass crazy woman in business, it's like either or. And so by chasing one dream, that means I'm not good enough here. And so it's this mental war that I have to choose. And as I look at that loop, I mean, it was what I watched my mom as a kick-ass female entrepreneur. So some of it's the way I watched her maybe get treated. Some of it's negative feedback that I've gotten over the years. And it's absolutely I've allowed it to hold me back and to fuel me. But it's a very real mama guilt thing that I have to be very aware of.
And how is it that you've started to overcome that?
So, we'll talk, or I guess I can do it right now, but the way I run myself through this is with really 2 questions, and with my staff and my kids. I'll ask myself, number 1, is it true? So is it true that I have to either be a female entrepreneur who kicks ass or a mother? No, that's not true. Right. That's not true. And then step 2 is, well, if it's not true, is it mine? And it's definitely not mine because I don't believe that shit. Excuse me. But I don't. Girls, who owns the world? I own this world.
I'm with you.
I digress. But so it's not true. It's not mine. And so I have to go inward. Where's the youngest memory that I can think of? And I go get it. And I've done this with my staff where we hold a string and a pair of scissors. And I say, thank you for getting me to this point, but I no longer need this lesson. And so now I can catch the loop, but I don't let it in to my physiology. I don't let it into my decision making.
It's massive. Massive. Yeah. And as we go into a little bit more of the strategy at the end, we'll kind of go through what we experienced also at Unleash the Power Within and some of what we've done on our own. And so for myself, one of the limiting beliefs that I've dealt with for a long time is that I will only experience success through a lot of struggle. Coming from the background that I came from, with the loss of my brother, the split of my parents, my mom leaving, and just what I wouldn't wish on anybody is that I tended to only feel like I was having achievements when I had to put a lot of work in. So I've always been a hard worker, and so I've really only seen I guess previous to letting go of this limiting belief, that it was like everything that I received was as a result of direct effort. So if I was willing to effort enough and put in enough work and endure really enough suffering, then I would see the higher levels of success and achievement. And ultimately, again, how is that serving me? That I'm continuously expecting things to be really, really hard and really, really difficult and really, really tough. So I just need to get tougher and I just need to get stronger. And I'm not saying that those aren't bad, quality traits to build up, perseverance. Sid Williams definitely got me through chiropractic school. I listened to Sid every single day, and his stick-to-itiveness and to keep on keeping on and all of that. And so, yes, and you don't have to make things so damn hard on yourself. Jones, I have a story about this. Actually, it just flashed into my memory right now, so I want to share it. I had a very, very, very tough first year in practice for multiple reasons, which, hopefully one of these sessions we'll get into. But I was needing to leave my primary address when I first started and find a new location, and was needing to open the doors within 2 weeks. So it all needed to happen really, really fast. Now, upon receiving entry to the new space that I'm in now, the back space had carpet that was disgusting. Now, not that only have carpet that was disgusting, but it had 3 layers of carpet as we go to remove the carpet. So they basically took one janky ass piece of carpet and put more stinky carpet on top of it, and even worse carpet on top. So 3 layers of just disgustingness. I'm like, there's no way I can open with this carpet mess. And so I rip it all out. Of course, now I rip it all out, and I got to do something about it. So it's all glued, there's this glue surface on the cement. And so I go to Home Depot and I buy this liquid chemical etching stuff, it's supposed to remove it. And I'm on no joke. So I'm working in one practice from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. at night. I would get home, I would eat dinner, and then I'd go to the new practice. I'd pour this chemical stuff. I'm wearing a full hazmat suit, and I'm this thing with goggles, and I'd pour it on, and I'd wait, and then I'm scrubbing hands and knees on the ground, scrubbing with a little brush that you use to do dishes, right? I did this for 3 days, where I went, no joke, I slept 2 hours because I had to have this space prepared, right? My father-in-law gets in town, and he's like, you can just go to the rental store and buy a sand, I don't know what they call those, portable I don't do those things, but portable thing to do the ground. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you can just go rent something to use electronically to get all that stuff up. So I'd spent 24 hours already on my hands and knees, and I maybe done a quarter of the space. He goes rents this thing, and in 2 hours does the rest of it. But you got to work so hard, Jones. Everything's got to be struggle, Jones. And so, that was just that was a glimpse of, one, you're an idiot, but 2, it doesn't have to be so hard, right? Just imagine if I put all that freaking work effort, right, and all that stick-to-itiveness I have, and I did it smart. How much further would I be ahead in the game? And so that's when, something clicked for me is you know what? I can still put a lot of energy into things, yet I don't always have to make it so dang hard for me. And that's when I started accepting help, and that's when I started accepting coaching, and that's when I started, being involved in groups where you can evolve rapidly, because you think, oh, I gotta learn it on my own. I'll learn it better if I learn it on my own. Dude, I'm saying right now, and I know you're experiencing this too, Devin. I have saved people coaching, years of failure, and I've saved myself years of failure getting coached. And so it's so important to get the right information, because what we're finding as this transition from the patriarchal to the matriarchal societies, it's not about people are not taking enough action. right? We live in action-driven societies. It's not that people aren't taking enough action. It's that they're not taking the right action at the right time. That's the missing piece.
Yeah, and you just hit on it. And I know a few of you that are on tonight were with me at Parker last week, and we talked about this. This is the turning of the page, and this is also what we feel, this fire from the millennial generation going, guys, like, you know, yes, it was once true in our profession that chiropractors were going to jail and you had to but there is a surrender and an allow and a vulnerability piece that you can feel throughout all the layers of our society right now. And that millennial generation and the feminine coming back into flow is where it is like, hey man, you don't have to work this hard, because that's not a sustainable thing.
Right.
And it isn't just about success, it's about fulfillment and peace. And
so I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really freaking good right now. I think I'm feeling good enough for a little turn up, baby. So every session will have a little turn up section. Here it is. So wherever you are, wherever you be, just get out of your seat and we're going to turn your physiology up just for a moment. L-O-V. Just better shake that thing. Just shake it just for a little bit. Uh-huh. Yeah, buddy. Oh, man, it feels good to be alive, don't it? It feels good to be alive. All right. So, where are we at now? Okay, so we talked about our examples. I think we're doing great tonight, Devin. I don't know about you. You're doing great. I'm proud of you.
I'm having a great time.
I'm having a great time. All right. Sweet. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some strategy now. I'm going to take directly from Tony. This is Tony Robbins' strategy for breaking free from disempowering beliefs. 1, link massive amounts of pain to disempowering belief. Link massive amounts of pleasure to empowering belief. And another effective way is to change disempowering beliefs is to create massive doubt about the old limiting belief. So question it until you begin to doubt it. And that's what you did great with, asking, is this true, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, one of the things that I had spoke with one of our members about is, would you allow your daughters to carry this belief about themselves? And so for me, that's that pain and, pleasure that
I just spilled water everywhere. I felt so cool for 5 seconds, and then Nate flashed you're not that cool, Jones. You spill water on yourself.
But if one of the most common disempowering beliefs is I'm not good enough, because that's one of the ones that's rampant in our profession, in the world, I would never want one of my children to be walking through the world with that loop playing in their head. So I'm excited to see what everyone shares. I'm excited to open up and share some of mine that I'm still carrying, because it's great to show you one that I've overcome, because that's the courage in me maybe.
Right.
But I want to open up one that I need y'all for. I want to open up a different layer of myself. So
absolutely. I want to share one more little strategy. So something that we did at Unleash the Power Within, if you get the opportunity to go, I highly recommend it. We had an amazing time. But, we went through, I think it was a 2-hour visualization process of going through and,
10,000 people. 10,000 people.
Going through at the same time, people crying and everything else. And, I think the question is what are the consequences if you continue that disempowering belief for 1 year? For 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years. What are the consequences for yourself, for your family, for your business, for your relationships? And it's freaking massive. It's massive.
Yeah, and so the lights were off, and one of the ones I was working through was the one I shared with you guys about, the mommy guilt, or the not chasing my dreams, and how do I, and so I pictured, 10 years from now, these people that I didn't help because I didn't show up, or my daughter who's now older learning to not chase her dreams, or my sons learning to not chase their dreams because I've taught them that they have to either or, and they can't show up in the world exactly how they want to.
Yep.
And that hurts. It's you can't, it was painful.
All right, y'all, I want to leave y'all with one more strategy here, and this is scheduling it. Right, so in today's busy world, nothing gets done unless it gets scheduled. So we may get excited about an upcoming event or doing work on our business, but often that excitement is short-lived, and the fire to evolve is extinguished by the comfort of staying exactly the same. So if you truly want to maximize the value you will receive from Equinox, we suggest scheduling the times you will watch the weekly activation, complete the post and weekly expiration, and interact with our weekly live Q&A. And so that's just within this group, but this just goes for anything in life. The reason I have been able to accomplish a lot of things I've been able to accomplish in the time that I've accomplished them is I just schedule things. And so I won't allow myself to enter things non-prepared or ill-prepared in a way that I would not perform with excellence. And so because of that, when it's scheduled, especially if I need to perform in front of people, like I'll get it done. I'll find a way. I'll schedule a workshop, and then by the time the workshop comes, I'm ready to go. And so, this works, so again, how many of us have been sitting on, I want to do a talk. I want to do a talk for my community. I want to do a dinner event. I want to do a lunch. I want to do whatever it is. I'll tell you right now, schedule that shit. And you might learn a lot more by the failure of marketing, or not doing enough. But it's better, I'd rather learn the failure than never do it. Right? I won't know where I come up short unless I come up short. So it's like, let's get it in. And so that goes for Equinox too. It's like, if you gotta be part of this, if you can't make the weekly live activation, schedule a time to watch it. Schedule a time that you're going to check the expiration. Schedule a time that you're going to complete it. Schedule a time that you're going to post it. Schedule a time that you're going to catch up with the live Q&A. If you can't make the live Q&A, we want your interaction. We want your involvement. We want to serve you, and we'll be able to better serve you as you start to participate.
And while we're scheduling, December 14th through the 16th in the Bay.
In the Bay.
Mark it down.
Working on venue right now. Much more details to come, but for now, just mark those dates off. We got a ride out video we're going to vibe out. So we hope you all had an amazing time. My mic was muted. It's not muted anymore, so you can hear me now. But we'll be back at the weekly Q&A on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll let the music ride out. As we finish off, if you have any questions, comments, likes, loves, suggestions, just let us know. We're happy to be here with y'all. And again, we're here for you, so let us know what's good. Everybody have an amazing night. Until next time, peace.
Mm-hmm.